You know what's funny? For years, people have been trying to figure out something simple about Donald Trump. Like, you hear that in every election, every scandal, every court case, what we hear and what we see on the television, every controversy about Donald Trump. People keep asking the same stupid question. Is this finally the thing that will probably stop Donald Trump? And honestly, after hearing that question for 10 years consecutive, I think a lot of people have stopped taking this very seriously. Because we've seen this movie before, the same movie. Some huge story breaks comes out, the media goes absolutely nuts, crazy, political analysts start making crazy predictions, everybody starts saying the walls are closing in. And then somehow the few months later, Trump is standing right there, maybe probably stronger than before. So whenever somebody tells me Donald Trump has a serious problem, wait, my first reaction is usually skepticism. Now, I've heard this too many times, but recently I've started noticing something that feels a little different in a very different way. Not because Donald Trump has suddenly become weaker, no, not because of that. Not because his opponents have become much stronger than before, but because I think he's running into a challenge that no politician can simply talk their way around. And strangely enough, it has nothing to do with Democrats. Nothing. It has nothing to do with media at all. It has nothing to do with protesters, what we are seeing on the streets. No, I think Donald Trump's biggest challenge right now is something much very simpler. It's the difference between the winning power and actually using it. And those are two completely different things, what we are hearing and what we are seeing. Probably see campaigning so easy compared to governing, right? When you're campaigning, everything sounds so simple, so nice and promising. You can stand on a stage and probably tell people exactly what you're going to do. And you're going to fix this, fix that, and probably change the country into a better thing. You're going to solve this problem, and people love that. You're going to reverse the policy. People love that. And people hear those kind of promises over and over again, and it sounds like a straightforward thing. Oh, then they go and vote for him. Then you actually get into the office, and what happens? Suddenly you realize the government isn't a race car. It's like a giant cargo ship. And giant cargo ship don't turn quickly. You can grab the wheel and pull as hard as you want. It's still going to take a lot of time. I mean, a lot of time. I think that's one of the biggest disconnect in the modern politics, what we are seeing here. But people don't understand this. People vote for somebody because they want change instantly. Then 6 months later, they're asking why the change is not here. And the answer usually is the same, because the government is complicated. And I know that's a boring answer. Honestly, a super boring answer. Nobody wants to hear this, but it's true. So let's say tomorrow a president wakes up and decides they're going to completely reshape the country in a good way. Okay, that's fine. And how exactly they will do? First, they have to deal with the Congress, right? And they have to deal with the courts. And then they have to deal with the state governments, right? It's a huge thing. Then they have to deal with a lot of agencies. They have to deal with the lawsuits. Then again comes dealing with the regulations. Too many things back to back, filters. Then they have to deal with the budget negotiations. Then again comes the member of their own party who don't always agree with them. They're on a different page. And before you know it, something that sounds simple during the campaign becomes incredibly difficult in the real life. So that's not unique to Trump. Every president runs into this reality eventually. Obama did, Bush did, Biden did, Donald Trump did during his first term, right? If you remember that. And he's dealing with it again right now in 2026. And I think it's especially interesting in Trump's case because of how he builds his political image on the world stage. Now, Trump's entire brand has always been built around something called action, speed, decisiveness, and the idea that problem exists because nobody is willing to make tough decisions, whether you agree with him or not. That's been a huge part of his appeal. A lot of people look at Washington and think it moves way too slowly. No. They look endless debates, they look endless meetings, endless delays, and they get just frustrated. And Donald Trump speaks directly to the frustration. He comes across somebody who wants to move fast and somebody who looks at the problem and say, why are we still talking about this? Let's just fix this. And honestly, I understand why people find this so appealing. The problem is that America was never designed for speed. That's the part I think a lot of people, they forget about it. The system was built to be slow on purpose. And the people who created American government were terrified of concentrated power. That's the story behind this. And they didn't want one person showing up and changing every single thing overnight. So they built roadblocks into the system, checks and balances, courts, states, Congress, layers of approvals, what we don't even think about, layers of reviews, layers of disagreements. They wanted friction, right? Because they believe friction was safer than moving too fast in this. Now, you can agree with that or disagree with it totally. That's a separate debate totally. But it's the reality where every president eventually runs into it and they just become slow. I think that's where we are seeing right now. Donald Trump isn't just competing against political opponents. No, he's competing against the structure itself, what was designed from the scratch when America was built. A structure that slows everybody down, not just Donald Trump, everybody I'm talking. So that's what I think so many people are looking into the wrong place. Everybody wants some dramatic explanation, some huge showdown, some decisive battle. They want to see because they want to enjoy some moments where everything changes overnight. Well, that's a good thing, but that's not the reality. But politics usually doesn't work that way. Most of the time, the biggest stories aren't dramatic at all. They're absolutely slow. They are super boring. They're procedural. They're meetings, they're court rulings, negotiations, a lot of them, budget fights, arguments, a lot behind the closed doors. We don't even hear that. That's where the power actually gets exercised. Not on social media, not on rallies, not on the world stage, not on television. In the details, and details are never as exciting as headlines, which is exactly why most people ignore them totally. But those details undermine what actually happens. That's why when people ask me what Donald Trump's biggest challenge is right now, I don't think so it's any individual person. I don't think it's Democrats. No, I don't think it's media at all. No, I don't think even it's protesters. No, I think it's expectations, because expectation can be dangerous. Supporters expect major changes instantly. Critics expect major consequences. So as you see, we have two different things right here. Everybody expects something huge in their own expectations. The higher the expectation becomes, the harder they are to satisfy. Reality almost never delivers exactly what people imagine. Reality is slower. It's super slow, messier. It's more complicated and usually a lot less dramatic. So while everybody is focused on the latest headline, I think the more interesting story is happening underneath of all what we are watching above. So we are watching basically what happens when a political movement built around speed runs into a system built around caution. And that's not a fight that gets settled in a day. That's not a fight, probably it gets settled in a week. No, that's a fight not even get settled in a year. It's a constant tension that's existed probably in American politics for generations. The desire to move faster, a system designed to slow things down. And to keep in mind, might be probably the most important political story in America right now, this one. Not who wins the next argument, not who dominates the next news cycle. No, it's not that. But when expectation collides with reality.